Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
That's what I'm talking about. All of our guests today, including Ross Tucker, standing by, brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub. The Waddling Dog Pub has the busy fall season covered. Come cheer on the Canucks, Lions, Whitecaps, Seahawks, all while enjoying one of their 19 taps, including beer, wine, and cider. Check out the daily happy hour, 4 to 6, every UFC pay-per-view, an attached liquor store and hotel. Also, don't forget to grab some Donnie and Dolly merch as well. The Dog is the place to be this sports season. We're joined now from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, CBS Sports and Westwood One. Ross Tucker. Ross, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Donnie. How are you? Happy hockey season.
Happy hockey season, and of course, Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday. Hey, Ross, you ran a poll on Twitter. I think it was in the wake of the 49ers demolishing of the Cowboys. Brock Purdy or Bryce Young? Who do you take? What were the results, and how did you vote?
Yeah, so that was at Ross Tucker Pod, I believe the podcast account, and it's been overwhelmingly in favor of Brock Purdy. Although I will say, in general, fans do not often have the greatest long-term perspective when it comes to polls like that. It's amazing how much those polls can change just based on the game prior or two games prior, but it was heavily weighted towards Brock Purdy, and I don't blame him. I voted for Brock Purdy as well.
Yeah,
it's just remarkable, isn't it? I mean, all of the time, guys, that goes into scouting these players. And, you know, Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant the year that Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy as being the best player in all of college football. Obviously, Bryce ended up being the number one overall pick in this past draft. And yet, Mr. Irrelevant, most people would rather have the last pick in the draft over the first pick in the draft. Neither guy's even played 12 games yet. But that's based on the sample size we've seen so far. And honestly, it's hard to argue with them. I mean, Bryce Young has not looked good. I'm guessing he'll get better. But Purdy's looked really good. I'm not thinking he's going to get worse. So you'd have to have a lot of faith in Bryce Young's ability to get to the point where he plays like Purdy. Now, people point out, well, look at Purdy's offensive line and his weapons and all that stuff. I get it. Look, I get it. And I'd love if we swapped both of them. I'd be so curious to see how Bryce Young was doing in San Francisco and Brock Purdy in Carolina, but that's not how it works.
Yeah, great poll question. I wish ours could be that good. Hey, Russell, what is it that makes Brock Purdy Mr. Irrelevant, although we should get away from that title? What makes him so effective?
I just think he's really smart and he processes things very quickly, which is still the two most important things for a quarterback still, and I think always will be, are their ability to make good decisions and, in saying that, process information quickly and be accurate. I mean, if you just do those two things, you're going to have a lot of success, especially when you're in Kyle Shanahan's offense, right? Because so often he does give you the answers to the test. There are guys that are open. You should be able to hit them and get pretty good yardage, and Purdy's done a pretty nice job of that so far. He's done a pretty nice job of that so far, Rick.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
Did you get that?
I got it pretty
Rick,
good.
why are you even on the show today? Don't you need to be like on your phone, like in case the Canucks pick up a new fifth line guy?
Hey, they might call a player up today. I'm waiting for a text. That's very important, Ross. You know,
That's
the
right.
farm team.
Who would it? Where would they be calling him up from?
Abbotsford, 45 minutes from Vancouver. And the players.
Is that their AHL team?
That's right, 45 minutes away from here. You used to be in Utica, but now it's in Abbotsford, Ross. It's only 45 minutes down the highway.
Do they get pretty good crowds?
Yeah, 3,000 to 5,000 a game.
Okay. We get 10.
In Hershey,
We
right?
get 10 for the Hershey Bears.
Yeah, Hershey is one of the greatest American Hockey League franchises in history.
Well established.
Well established.
It's amazing. The Giant Center is amazing. We have second row seats. I love it. I can't tell the difference between NHL and AHL.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of 21, 22-year-old Canadian or Eastern European dudes flying around, hitting each other. It's great. I love it.
A lot of Americans.
A lot of them. Hey, the Americans are coming on, Ross, in hockey. Look at the NHL draft, the
it's
first round.
It's three-quarters of the Canucks roster.
Ross, the
Seriously?
first round. Yeah, the first round of the NHL draft has got a ton of Americans.
So what? Okay, so two things. Number one, what do you attribute that to?
Coaching. They just invested more money into it.
I think it goes back to 1980 and the Miracle on Ice, and it started from there, Ross.
Wayne Gretzky.
Well, I'll say this.
Yeah.
When I was in high school in the late 90s,
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody that played ice hockey
Wow.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But now, like, a decent amount of kids play ice hockey in Pennsylvania. And, like, the Philly area, I mean, there's been, like, kids drafted out of that area, and they play, you know, and one of them I think might be in the NHL. My other question about that is, how do Canucks fans feel about three-quarters of the team being Americans, or do they just not care? They just want the Canucks to win.
Well, it's not three-quarters. I exaggerated there. They just want them to win. And by the way, Ross, I have to say something here. If you're talking to hockey fans, you can't say ice hockey.
Yeah.
It's just got to be hockey.
It's got to be hockey.
If you say ice hockey, you've got a problem on your hands.
Come on, Ross.
Okay? So less
can I tell you why? Can I tell you why?
Okay.
Why?
Because I live in central Pennsylvania, which is by far the best state for field hockey.
Okay.
Oh, right.
And my daughters have played field hockey. So more people in Pennsylvania, girls, play field hockey than play ice hockey. So in Pennsylvania, you have to specify. It's unbelievable. I mean, these girls from like these farm towns get full scholarships to Duke and Stanford, North Carolina, whatever, for field hockey. So my nieces play field hockey. It's a big deal. So anyway, I got it. I wouldn't say ice hockey. Like, I get it. You guys don't have field hockey up there, do you?
No, we do. We do.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Well, what do you call that?
Field hockey.
Field hockey.
Yeah.
But when you say hockey,
So there's just field
it's
hockey,
ice hockey.
and hockey. There's no ice hockey.
No ice hockey.
There's ball hockey, too.
Okay.
That's the other one.
Can I ask a question about football? The sport you
I guess.
excelled in?
I like learning stuff.
Okay.
Whatever you're going to ask about football, I already know. I already know what I think about.
Yeah, but you got to tell us because we don't know. Listen,
well, you clearly don't, Rick. That's for sure.
Listen, Ross. Buffalo looked tired in England.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't arrive till Friday morning, and Jacksonville has been there for 10 days. Can you blame the jet lag, the travel? Can you blame it for the loss?
No. I mean, it might be a contributing factor, but no one prevented the Bills from going earlier. You know, the Ravens are already over there. The Ravens play the Titans over there this week, and the Ravens are already over there because of they wanted to acclimate themselves and make sure they were in a good spot before the game. So, look, you know, different people have different philosophies. They've talked with sports scientists, blah, blah, blah. Did you go over there really early to acclimate yourself, or do you go over there late and just play? No, nobody really knows the right answer, but it was the first time that a team had been there for a second game, and clearly, at least early in that game, it looked like the Jags were in a much better spot than the Bills.
Okay, so the Eagles 5-0, just like the 49ers. Eagles beating the Rams, 49ers, as I mentioned, destroying the Cowboys. Is it too early to look ahead to Week 13 when those two teams meet?
No. I mean, it's the only two undefeated teams. I think it's pretty clearly the two best teams so far. It'd be a rematch of the NFC Championship game last year where Purdy got hurt. No, I don't think it's too early to talk about that matchup. I will say this, and I feel like this is more the case in football than any other sport. There's going to be several guys that are not going to play in that game, right? Like, that's just the nature of football. And for that matter, both teams, Eagles especially, they'll have some guys back that they don't have right now. Right guard Cam Jurgens, linebacker Nakobe Dean. So I think that's one of the things that really makes NFL so interesting is that it's like chess pieces on a board, right? Mm-hmm. And you take away one, and add one for the other side, it really changes the whole dynamic of the board, right? I mean, I'm not a huge chess guy, but I like it. And man, you have your queen or you have a rook, and I lose my, like, that kind of changes the whole thing. And that's football a lot more than people want to admit.
You know what I love about this segment? We covered chess, field hockey, ice hockey, and a little bit of football too.
Yeah.
Right. So we appreciate that. Hey, Seahawks in a bye week. What did you get up to during a bye week during your career?
Well, these guys, they give these guys a lot more free time now than we used to. We used to get like maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I remember one year we had practice Friday morning.
Wow.
And then we had to be back Sunday night because we had meetings Monday morning. So we called it the bye day. We were only allowed to be away for Saturday. But no, typically I would either go back to my hometown or Princeton, whoever had a home game, whether it was my high school or my college, whoever had a home game, I was going to go back because it was the only time I could ever see them play.
Awesome. Things have changed. Hey, Ross, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. We'll give you an update on the ice hockey results next week.
Yeah, go Canucks. I'm a big Canucks guy because of you guys.
All right.
Appreciate it. Next week, Ross, thanks so much.
See ya.